Hello and a very good morning to all of you. You are watching the Morning News Show on CNN News 18 and I am Sriharikota. And today we all are waiting with bated breath to witness history being created. And well, India's third lunar mission, Chandrayaan 3, is all set to land on the moon today at around 6:04 p.m. Now, the spacecraft is now just a few hours away from its final destination and the moon's south pole. If the mission is successfully completed, India will become the fourth country to master the technology of soft landing on the lunar surface after the US, China and the erstwhile Soviet Union. Now, India will also become the first country to reach the unexplored larger south pole of the moon. Ahead of the historic landing, ISRO yesterday released new pictures exuding confidence of a successful soft landing. The live telecast of the landing operations will begin at 5:20 p.m. according to Indian Standard Time. The link for the live streaming has also been shared and is available on ISRO's official website. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on an official visit to South Africa to attend the BRICS summit, will also join the Chandrayaan 3 landing program virtually. Now, India's mission moon budget 615 crore, 615 crore, that is the big budget for this entire mission. The journey is of 42 days. The rover's life is of 14 days. Distance covered remains to be 3.84 lakh kilometers.
So right from the launch till both the deboost phases, we have seen everything going according to the plan. Just a step left. What do you anticipate, sir?
Well, I think what I feel is we will have a soft landing. We already at the 25 kilometers perigee. So in around 753 kilometers, total distance from the point where the total system is getting activated and to landing, it's around 753 kilometers. And since there are equipments like a laser Doppler, a velocity meter, there is a camera, so hazard detection and avoidance camera. There is a cabin altimeter which will find out the altitude or height within few centimeters. There is a laser altimeter which can give in less than a centimeter. So all these off and front cameras are there.
In fact, the other interesting bit that I want to ask you is it will also leave an imprint of ISRO and the Indian flag on the surface of the moon.
Yes. Till now we don't know whether flag will be there or not. But the rover rear wheels, right wheel has got a ISRO emblem. Left wheel has got the, our Rajya Chinna, Ashoka emblem. So it will be left in when it goes up to 50 meters or so. And since the sand is very fine, so sand can vary from 250 microns to a few microns. And in that one, so imprints will be there. Since there is no atmosphere, for centuries together, those imprints will be there. So we will have our imprint there. That's all.
So since you were also part of the LEOS system center here in Bengaluru, I want to ask you about the onboard cameras that are on the lander and the rover. How important are they, sir? One. And second, ISRO also recently pointed out that most of it has been developed in-house.
Yeah, correct. See, mainly in ISRO, we have two main centers for developing these cameras. One is in the Space Applications Center, that is Ahmedabad, which makes all the remote sensing cameras. And the other electro-optical based instrumentation, many of the things are developed in the laboratory for electro-optic systems in Bangalore. Hazard detection camera, hazard detection and avoidance camera. See, this camera becomes very important because now this time when we are landing, it is not in one single phase. There are some 3-4 phases. One is the rough braking phase where you are trying to reduce the velocity, which is on both the horizontal and vertical components. Then you enter into some attitude hold phase where you stay there and try to slowly orient the lander vertically, that is the thrust vector has to become vertical, and then you enter the rough braking phase, where you come from say about 7 kilometers to 800 meters or so, and then from there you come to the still lower altitude, that is 150 meters. During these phases, especially during the last two phases, we need to find out whether when we see the moon, it is not as we see very smooth. There are very large craters and boulders and uneven surfaces. So when we land, and they can be many meters deep inside also.
So definitely that because last time we could not achieve, because we till this phase we did very well last time also, but the landing portion only we could not achieve properly. So definitely that's what this time it's a very, very, very anxious moment. Everybody is working, looking it very anxiously for this event to happen. And I am sure that this time it will be a grand success.
Chandrayaan 2, compared to that, is almost so many things have been done. In fact, I won't be able to explain every detail which Chairman ISRO himself has explained. About 80% changes are there. Weight itself is higher because they included quite a few things. Then they included redundancy in the engine, in the orbiter himself, so that one engine, suppose something happens, etc. So the chances of success is exceedingly high.
Chandrayaan 2, we had this orbiter, and we also had the lander and the rover. And the testing which was carried out on the lander and the rover were to an average extent, and that could not do a soft landing. It actually crash landed. But with respect to Chandrayaan 3, we have this a propulsion module which is actually orbiting, and then we have this lander and rover which is expected to soft land. Such a extensive testing and simulations have been done, and therefore we expect that the landing will definitely be achieved.
It will be a proud moment for every Indian. India, which was considered as a country which goes to many Western powers with a begging bowl, now has reached a stage where it can send its own instrument to the moon, and like any other 140 crore people of this country, I am also waiting to see the Vikram land on the surface of the moon, and the rover goes out and starts expeditions on the surface of the moon.
सफल लैंडिंग से एक तरह से देखा जाए तो सीधे तो हमको कोई ऐसा कोई खजाना मिलने वाला नहीं है कि हमको एकदम से कुछ खजाने पे हाथ लग गया हो, पर आपने देखा होगा कि ये तकनीक हासिल करना, जो कि पिछली बार हम असफल हो गए थे चंद्रयान 2 के समय पे लैंडिंग करने में, तो उस तरह से देखें तो जो अलग अलग तकनीकी हम मास्टरी कर पाए हैं, उसको सीख पाए हैं, जिसके कारण हम इस प्रकार के कठिन मिशन पार कर पाएंगे। तो ये तकनीक हम उपयोग करके भविष्य में अन्य विकट मिशनों में भी हम कार्य कर पाएंगे। हमको अभी गगनयान प्रोग्राम करना है जिसमें हम आदमी को स्पेस में ले जाने वाले हैं।
All put together, Chandrayaan 2 has given enough feedback for the Chandrayaan 3 configuration and its onboard programming and the sensors redundancy point of view and the thruster location, selection of the landing site, and as well as the strengthening of the wheel. So the strengthening of your legs. So that way I think things look better. And similarly from July 14th to now, I think every instant, every move was coming for the main path itself. So indicating all the systems are okay. Even now after lander separating from the propulsion module, also the first two maneuvers have gone reasonably well.
सबकी नज़रें चंदा मामा की तरफ लगी हुई है। हम प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं कि हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने जो परिश्रम किया है वो निश्चित तौर पर सफल हो और सफलतापूर्वक चंद्रयान उतर जाए। अपने वैज्ञानिकों को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
अभी तक जिस तरह से इसरो ने सुनिश्चित किया है कि हमारा मिशन जो है वो काफ़ी स्टेबल है और अभी अपने आखिरी किलोमीटर्स का सफ़र है उसके लिए पूर्णतः तैयार है। तो अभी तक तो कोई इस तरीके की खबर नहीं है कि हमें लास्ट मिनट चैलेंजेस फेस करने पड़े, पर स्टिल सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग जो है अभी भी हमारे लिए एक मेजर कंसर्न है। जब तक हम चंद्रमा की सतह पर आसान से सेफली जो है लैंड नहीं कर जाते तब तक डेफिनेटली फिंगर्स क्रॉस रहेंगे। 27 तारीख का दिन जो इसरो ने इस बात को सुनिश्चित किया है, अगर कल 23 तारीख को अगर सफलता से लैंडिंग नहीं होती और लास्ट मिनट कोई ट्रबल हमारे सामने आता है तो एक बार फिर 27 तारीख को प्रयास किया जाएगा। 14 दिन का ये पूरा मिशन प्रोफाइल है। ये पूरा मिशन 14 दिन के लिए प्रोग्राम किया गया है। तो 14 दिन जो है चंद्रमा के उस सतह पर उजाला रहेगा जिस सूर्य की प्रकाश को इस्तेमाल कर कर सोलर पैनल का इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा।
Yeah, I'll follow it. I'll follow it. These are great moments. We always keep talking about sports, but these are also tremendous achievements for the country. So, wish them all the best.
I think it's a great moment for India and a proud moment for each and every Indian. The kind of, you feel that pride in your heart. And as an Indian, all of us, I think, right now, we're waiting to watch it. A lot of people are going to be glued watching it. And I'm going to be doing that with my boys as well, with bated.
चंद्रयान 3 के लिए हमने प्रे किया है कि कल शाम को 5:47 बजे ये अच्छे से लैंड हो जाए और हमारा भारत बहुत अभी जो डेवलप हो रहा है उसको हम डेवलप नेशन करके हम आगे बढ़े।
हम पिछले 15 दिनों से सुन रहे थे कि मतलब मिशन लैंड होने वाला है। सोशल मीडिया पे हमने देखा सभी जगह पे एंथुजियाज्म था। हम पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट में जा रहे थे, उधर भी सब लोग चर्चा कर रहे थे कि कैसे सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग हो सकता है, मतलब होना चाहिए। तो उसके लिए हमने इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे, हमारे कॉलेज लेवल पे हम सभी लोग ने प्रे किया था। इवन हम जहाँ पे रहते हमारे सोसाइटी में, वहाँ पर हमने स्क्रीनिंग लगाई है कि सब लोग साथ में मिलकर सब लोग साथ में देखेंगे। और उसके अलावा भी हम लोग ने हमारे सोसाइटी में प्रे किया था कि लाइक अच्छे से सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग हो जाए और इंडिया का नाम वर्ल्ड में स्थापित हो जाए।
वाराणसी में चंद्रदेव का अनादिकालों से पूजन होते आया है। भगवान शिव के मस्तक पे चंद्रमा है और इस कारण बनारस में आप देखेंगे गंगा माँ भी चंद्राकार में है। तो इसलिए हम लोग चंद्र देवता को प्रसन्न करने के लिए मंदिर में उपस्थित हुए हैं, हवन कर रहे हैं, जिससे हमारा चंद्रमा के ऊपर जो चंद्रयान 3 जा रहा है उसको सफलतापूर्वक लैंडिंग होने दे चंद्रदेव, और हमारे इसरो के वैज्ञानिक की जो पर्यवेक्षण है वो सफल हो पूरी तरह से। इसी कामना से हम लोग हवन यहाँ पे कर रहे हैं।
आज हमारे वैज्ञानिक ने चंद्रयान 3 लॉन्च किया और आज चंद्रमा के सतह पे जा पहुंची है। बस लैंडिंग होनी बाकी है और 23 तारीख को, जहां तक हमें संभावना कि 23 तारीख को वहां पे सूर्योदय होगा चंद्रमा पे, तो उस समय वहां पे लैंडिंग होगी। इसी के लिए कि अच्छे तरीके से वहां पे लैंडिंग हो जाए, सफलतापूर्वक हो जाए, उसी के लिए हम सभी चंद्र देवता से, भगवान चंद्र देवता के अधिपति भगवान शंकर से यह प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं कि वह निर्विघ्नतापूर्वक हमारी जो वैज्ञानिकों की कामना है उस कामना को पूर्ति करें और चंद्रयान 3 को वहाँ पे उतरने में अपना शक्ति प्रदान करें। वो
तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि वो सक्सेसफुल हो जाए। यही मतलब मैं बहुत प्राउड फील कर रही हूँ इंडिया के लिए।
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, फील वेरी प्राउड एज अ इंडियन। ये जो अगर सक्सेसफुल हो जाए तो इससे बड़ी बात कोई नहीं होगी। मतलब बहुत ही एक्साइटेड है हम लोगों ने आज उस बेसिस पर एक स्टैंडर्ड बनाया है और सुदर्शन पटनायक सर बाहर गए हुए हैं उनके काम के लिए और उन्होंने हमें पूरी तरह से आज इंस्पायर किया है, सपोर्ट किया है। वो वीडियो कॉल के थ्रू हम सबको गाइड किए हैं उन्होंने।
जी माधवन नायर जी, वी आर स्टार्टिंग। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। नमस्कारम। we are all counting down. I think it's just a few hours, but the all-important moment. And this time around, there seems to be not just hope, but belief that we will get the soft landing right.
Well, certainly a lot of efforts have gone behind this mission. After the Chandrayaan 2, ISRO has done a considerable amount of changes in their design and in strengthening the subsystems like the thrusters, landing, legs and computer software and all those things. And a large number of simulations and validation also has been done. So there is every chance, there's an extremely good chance that we'll be able to achieve the mission this time.
One question that I'm very curious about is that none of the other space-bound nations like China, Russia, or America in the past, Russia attempted it now, have looked at the dark side of the moon. Why has India chosen the Atkins Basin or the South Pole?
Well, there are two reasons. One is, the presence of large quantity of water is confirmed in the southern pole. So in the future, if we want to have some robotic colony or even human presence, the South Pole is ideal location. The second, since it's the dark side and there is not much of disturbance happening with respect to time, we may get some idea about the origin of the moon and the condition of the planet Earth when the moon spun off from the Earth and so on. So the data what we get will be throwing some light on the basic principles behind the origin of the planet Earth itself. And again, whether we can confirm the presence of helium-3 and other exotic minerals there, that will be an opportunity for us. So this is a very important mission as far as India is concerned. We have some data from the remote observation from the Chandrayaan 1 and Chandrayaan 2. This is an opportunity to validate in situ that information. More than that, the technology demonstration with respect to soft landing on a faraway territory where there is no beacon, there is no GPS, nothing. It has to be done autonomously using the self-contained instrumentation, the cameras, the altimeters, and so on. So this is really going to be cutting edge of the cutting edge of technology. And once we demonstrate that, we'll be showing to the world that we are in par with the Western world as far as the high technology is concerned.
The Russians also quite ambitious with Luna. If you were to contrast Luna and Chandrayaan 3, because many people are curious where Luna failed, why do you think Chandrayaan 3 or why do we think Chandrayaan 3 will succeed?
Well, we don't have much information about the Luna failure, but Russia has done this 50 years back, and it was really surprising that they got into a problem this time. One thing is, the approaching the moon, there are many uncertainties. The gravitational field around the moon, even the thruster calibration, the orbital calibration, etc. Russians did it pretty fast, but as far as the ISRO is concerned, they are taking a very cautious approach, going step by step. So that approach may have a better chance of success than compared to the Russian one.
ISRO says at exactly 2 hours prior to the scheduled landing, they will take a final call. If not, they will even postpone the landing to the 27th. Can you explain that to us, please?
Certainly, I think that is a very right thing for ISRO to do, because it's a very precious mission and we can't afford to take any risk. We have to ensure that everything, both on board as well as the ground, works to the perfection, to the satisfaction of whatever targets what we have set. Then only we can give the final command for the soft landing. So naturally, the 2 hours before, ISRO chairman will be taking a call and then deciding on the further course of action.
How is the Vikram Ranger better than the last time around? We are given to understand from 5, they brought it down to 4 thrusters, but you had mentioned that the lander has stronger legs. It's more robust. What are the kind of changes? Does it also have an autopilot mode where the lander itself can take over away from ground control in those 15 minutes of the landing?
No, this last 15 minutes of operation is all autonomous with the computer taking control in the lander module itself. It is imagine a situation, an aircraft will have to land on a field where there are no beacons, no radars, and it's only the terrain pictures are available. So we are in similar situation, and also even the type of the environment which you face there, especially the gravitational field and things like that. There is no precise knowledge. So this mission with the onboard, the measurements are very, very important. The first, of course, the optical measurement from the stereoscopic camera. Then there is a laser imaging system as well as a Doppler, which gives the position as well as velocity indications. There are gyroscopes and accelerometers to decide whether the thrusters are working or not. Then the control system to stabilize the attitude, the orientation of the module, so that at various phases it is pointing in the right direction, and ultimately the legs are pointing down. And the ultimate challenge is in finding a spot where there is not much of problems of collision. You see, for example, if there are some boulders are there or some craters are there, they are danger spots. So the onboard camera will have to analyze that zone and take a decision. So it will be hovering around the low altitude and taking pictures. And once it is satisfied, the onboard computer gets satisfied that is the right location, it will give the command for final dropping to the surface. So this is an extremely complex operation, and every element has to work perfectly.
G. Madhavan Nair ji, my final question. How confident are you that we'll nail those 15 minutes?
Well, I think the space is full of challenges, and we have challenges several times. And hard work, which is put in by the ISRO team, even the God will not deny them the success.
Let's hope that, and that's the prayer, sir. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Always a pleasure speaking with you, sir. Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we at CNN News 18 will constantly keep updating you about every single development that we get, every single minute till the touchdown. But for now, we will slip into a short break. Do stay tuned to CNN News 18 as we bring you more right here.
Prague is younger and less experienced than Magnus Carlsen, certainly as far as the stage is concerned?
Nerves are always decisive at a stage like this. Also, remember, both of them want this very badly.
Yes.
And they waited a long time for it. And I think, in fact, that is slightly harder for Magnus because he has missed the opportunity more often.
Yes.
So when he gets there, he really doesn't want to miss this time. And nerves will play an important part. In fact, there will be several mistakes. It's normal. Under the tension, both of them will wilt. There will be several mistakes and so on. But can you keep control after those mistakes? That will be the key.
In some ways, could it also be beneficial for Pragyananda that he's kind of the challenger here and the underdog?
Yes, I think he's clearly the underdog. And just like Caruana yesterday and the last 2 days, I expect his weakest area relative to them will be opening preparation. So he'll have to survive the opening, get into a position that he wants to play. The opening is where you decide what kind of game you're going to try and reach. He'll have to survive that phase. But if he does that, he's halfway there, and then he has the chance to play well. But, it's mental, it's physical. Can he take 5 or 6 hours of hard work, hard calculation? Can he stand the strain of this big title? Again, big titles put a pressure on you. The closer you are, the harder it gets, because it's easier for you to think, oh, I've reached, and then your attention flags. Never letting that thought come in. All these will be a big test against him on one of the biggest stages against a very big opponent.
I do want to ask you, regardless of what happens in this final, of course, all of us, I think 1 billion people are rooting for Pragyananda. He has already kind of achieved one important goal, which is, as you mentioned, playing in the Candidates 2024 to be the challenger to Lurin. Just how important is that, you think?
The Candidates is actually the goal of the World Cup. I mean, people play the World Cup to qualify for the Candidates. Carlsen is playing the World Cup because he has never won a knockout tournament.
slightly different motivation.
Yes.
But the candidates is important because if you play in the candidates, and that's a difficulty all its own, and if you can win that, then you get to play the World Championship. So for Prag, those are the more important goals. However, he is getting the chance to play a highly motivated opponent at a very, very big, on a very, very big stage. That kind of practice.
There is already a lot of talk about this final, particularly because Pragyananda has beaten Magnus Carlsen in previous events, and actually that's how he shot to fame in India as well. But before I get to that, after his set...
Welcome back. You're watching the Morning News Show on CNN News 18, and at this segment we have some breaking news coming in, wherein the Prime Minister has tweeted regarding the BRICS summit. He has said, and I quote, "The BRICS Business Forum gave me an opportunity to highlight India's growth trajectory and the steps taken to boost ease of doing business and public service delivery." Also, he emphasized on India's strides in the digital payments, infrastructure creation, the world of startups and more. Now remember that this is the first time that the BRICS leaders are all meeting in person. This is the 15th BRICS summit, and they are meeting for the first time in person after 3 consecutive years of virtual meet owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is right now at Johannesburg attending the BRICS summit, which is to be held till Thursday, he has tweeted saying, and this is about the BRICS Business Forum, the speech he gave at the BRICS Business Forum, wherein he has said that the BRICS Business Forum gave me an opportunity to highlight India's growth trajectory and the steps taken to boost ease of doing business and public service delivery. Now also emphasized on India's strides in digital payments, infrastructure creation, the world of startups and more. So this is the breaking piece of input we are gathering about the BRICS summit, wherein the Prime Minister has tweeted on this. And right now, before we end this segment, we have this particular story that we are bringing you, which is taking us back to Mission Swachhata or Pani Special. It's a Mission Swachhata or Pani Special, wherein in an attempt to recognize sanitation workers and provide them dignified livelihood options, Harpic had established World Toilet Colleges across the country. Now here is a look at how the World Toilet College Aurangabad is bringing in a positive change in the lives of these silent warriors. Let's have a look.
Dignity of labour for everyone, leaving no one behind and making sanitation a priority for all. These were some of the tenets that formed the basis of World Toilet College in Aurangabad when it was formed in 2018. Since then, this joint venture between Reckitt, Jagran Pahel and Maharashtra government is leading a silent revolution for the dignity and empowerment of the most vulnerable yet most critical workforce for Swachh India, the sanitation workers.
पहले हम क्या करते थे, चड्डी बरनाल पे उतर जाते थे और साफ सफाई का काम करते थे. अभी वैसा नहीं है, सेफ्टी किट पहनकर और सब जो अपना गम शूज़ है, मास्क है, सब यूज़ करके हम काम करते हैं.
मेरे को मशीनरीज का नॉलेज मिला वर्ल्ड टॉयलेट स्कूल से. 4-5 मशीन का ऐसा मेरे को पूरा इधर से जानकारी मिली. एटो स्क्रबर, सिंगल डिस्क, जो अपन हाथ से काम करते वो हम अभी मशीन से काम करना चालू किया है.
The well-structured curriculum helps the students acquire skills like plumbing, sanitation engineering, waste management, which are designed to meet industry standards and provides them opportunities in various sectors such as hospitality, urban development, public health and infrastructure.